Alright, and we are live with Paranormasight again. I actually wanted to play this game a lot yesterday, but ended up having to, play some games with some friends. But I believe where we left off, we had just finished like our first run through of the story. So, if you didn't see that, probably check that one out first. But I think the game basically opened up into more of what it's supposed to be, which is some sort of time travel-y type thing. Yeah, here we go. So, I'm guessing we need to go back to Kinshibori Park, and we need to stop. God, what was her name? Fuku? Shogo Okie is with Yoko Fukunaga at Kinshibori Park, searching for one of the 7 mysteries of Honjo. His interest in the occult starts to grow as he learns more about it from Yoko. So, wait. It says restart or resume. I forget what the difference is. Gameplay. Use the story chart button on the menu to quit playing a chapter and return to the story chart. If you quit midway through a chapter that you haven't finished, you'll restart again from the beginning. Completed chapters can be resumed from various points in the chapter. The game will not return to a previous game state when resumed. If you return to the story chart by using the suspend command that appears at certain points, it is the same as quitting and returning to the story chart. There are 2 phases that must be completed to fully complete a chapter. If a chapter is finished while there are still tasks to be done, the chapter will not end, but will remain incomplete. Restart. Resume. How is the start from the beginning? How is the right related to the mysteries? Hold on. Shogo Okie, 1 a.m. So I think our goal is to stop her from dying. Brightness, audio, video. She died to the first Honjo mystery thing, though, the Whispering Canal. The curse power that kills by drowning. They would leave the canal every morning. Kills by drowning one who leaves the curse bearer behind. Okay. That's an interesting looking playground. I bet it's crawling with kids during the daytime, but it's kind of peaceful here at night. I don't know how she's so comfortable talking about spirits and the paranormal at this time of night. Either she's got guts or she's just used to it, unless... No, it can't be. Wait. You're kidding, right? About what? I mean, just now. It kind of sounded like you were saying that only people with spirit sense can see you. Of course that was a joke, duh. You You don't really think I'm some kind of evil spirit, do you? But yeah, I meant what I said about your spirit sense being strong. I bet you could take down a whole gimlet in one gulp, seriously. That's the real reason I asked you to help me with this 7 mysteries of Honjo business. Okay, let me just clarify something. Are you saying you can actually see paranormal stuff? Sure. I could handle a solo Moscow mule. Why are you measuring this in terms of cocktails? Not a believer, huh? Well, that's no matter. But you have to have seen some weird stuff over the years, right? Weird stuff? Yeah, like things you could see but could never understand. You can't be serious. I've seen ghost photos in magazines before, but are you telling me they really exist? You bet they do, but you can only recognize them if you really believe in them, so be careful. So even with my skill, I won't be able to see them if I doubt they exist. That's right. The spirit world is all about the mind and the soul. You won't be able to see a thing unless you're properly in tune. But sometimes people might get caught up in the moment, thinking they might see something, and then they really do because they believed they would. Is that how that works? Yep, just like drinking. You'll never know how much booze you can handle unless you're ready to down some shots. I'm still not sure I get the drinking thing. Haha, I realized how strange it was as the words left my mouth. Sheesh. So, from what I recall, it's shortly after this series of conversations with her that we see she sees the spirit. And if you can believe that, there might be hope for you yet. You can't be serious. Totally unrelated, but do you actually drink? Real alcohol, I mean? Whoa, talk about whiplash. I didn't expect you to start making small talk. Well, our conversation was getting a bit dark. I figured a change of topic might lighten things up. Oh, I see. If you really want to know. I like to think I can handle a few drinks. But to tell you the truth, I've never actually had a Moscow mule. Really now. Hey, I just thought it sounded cool. I would like to try it though. Why don't we go for a drink sometime then? Oh? Are you asking me out? No, you're just being a good Samaritan, right? No, that's not what I meant. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'd be up for that. But only if we find one of the 7 mysteries. Alright then, let's get to work. So I'm wondering, how do we... I just remembered. I actually did some research on the 7 mysteries of Honjo at the library. You did? What did you find? Well, I discovered a few interesting things. Oh, tell me everything. Although they're called the 7 mysteries, the literature lists 9 of them. Oh, I'm surprised you picked up on that. Nice researching. Some people think they could be up to 15. That's the thing about these old folktales. Stuff gets added to them over the years. That's more extra stories than main ones. Yeah, but the 7 mysteries rolls off the tongue way better than 9 or 15. If you say so. But it makes sense, don't you think? It's more likely to be passed on if it's easy to remember. Huh, that's a good point. So, I read some of the stories, and none of them were, well, scary. I thought they were supposed to be ghost stories. That's true. They're more like a collection of superstitions, really. But there are some pretty disturbing ones in the mix. Yeah, like the one that's supposed to take place here, the Whispering Canal. People who fished in this canal would hear a voice call out saying, "Leave it." They had to abandon their catch or the canal would take it. Right, right. Is that what you're expecting to find here in this park? Not quite. We're talking about a folktale from hundreds of years ago. After centuries of the telephone game, who knows if it's anything like the original story. So basically, you think the true story of the Whispering Canal might be completely different from what we know? Exactly. I'm sure it is. I mean, weren't you curious? About what? People from around here have that expression, left at the canal, right? Meaning to abandon someone. This story is where it comes from. Except the story being told today is about fish. There's nothing in it about leaving people behind. Now that you mention it, that's true. So you're saying the original story maybe did involve someone being abandoned. That's what I'm trying to find out. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Oh, by the way, were we talking about the Rite of Resurrection? Ooh, your memory is as strong as your tolerance. I'm gonna start calling you Martini Man Shogo. I'm really climbing up the drinks menu, eh? So you know about it, huh? The Rite of Resurrection? A magazine ran a feature on it recently that got practically everyone talking about it. Really? Maybe that's where I had heard about it. Still, I don't know. It seems a little too far-fetched to be true. So, the Rite of Resurrection. It's the forbidden art of bringing the dead back to life, concocted by a famous onmyoji from an ancient age. Rumor has it an old manuscript containing actual, concrete details about the rite was recently discovered. This rumor comes from a presentation given by local historian Hideki Arashi at an academic conference. You sure know a lot about this stuff. That's because I'm secretly a huge occult buff. I kinda got that. Oh. But if a researcher spoke about it at an academic conference, it must have some basis in fact. Exactly, that's why I believe the Rite of Resurrection is real. Now I'm starting to believe it too. Good, the pursuit of the unknown starts with belief. I got that from Professor Arashi himself. Wait, hang on. I've got another question. You mentioned the Rite of Resurrection. Are you looking for that too? Does it have something to do with the 7 mysteries of Honjo? Oh, you're sharp. I could cut my finger on you. To tell the truth, it's actually the other way around. What do you mean? Well, I started off searching for the Rite of Resurrection, but along the way I realized that I needed to investigate the 7 mysteries of Honjo first. I see, so then... If you're looking into a way to bring someone back from the dead, does that mean you've got someone you want to bring back? You know what? Forget it. It just came to mind, so I thought I'd ask. I didn't mean to pry. Sorry. No, it's fine. I figured I'd need to tell you at some point. It's Ogopogo. Ogopogo. Ogopogo? Yeah, I want to bring him back to life. He died in an accident about a month ago. Oh right, Ogopogo was my dog. I had him for 8 years. Ah, okay. Your dog. Gotcha. You spent a long time together. Losing him must have been really hard for you. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if the rite even works on dogs. But as soon as I found out about it, I knew I had to give it a try. I don't think I could forgive myself if I just let the opportunity pass by. Definitely. Now I understand why you feel so strongly about it. Thanks for telling me. I know this must be hard to talk about. But you know what? All that led me to meeting you. So at least something good came out of it. Though that doesn't mean I'll stop looking, obviously. Yoko. I'll do everything I can to help you. I'm so glad to hear that. Let's keep up the hard work then, yeah? So, about the connection between this rite and the 7 mysteries. Putting together everything we've talked about, my guess is that the original stories behind the 7 mysteries, the true stories, are the key to finding the Rite of Resurrection. And that's why you're searching for one of them. Do I have that right? Wow, 10 out of 10. You're proving to be quite the capable assistant. Wait, since when was I your assistant? Anyway, this is all just hearsay, but some say what led to the 7 mysteries coming to be was the Rite of Resurrection itself. Huh? Don't the stories come from the Edo period? I thought the Rite of Resurrection was supposed to be way older than that. Right, it seems that an onmyoji from the Edo period rediscovered the ancient art. That old manuscript I mentioned, with all the details on how to use the rite, apparently was written in the Edo period. Oh right, I never told you its name. The manuscript is called The Record of Fates. Whoa, what a name. And it speculates that the secret of the rite is hidden within the 7 mysteries of Honjo. So now, the 7 mysteries are the hot new trend. Among who? You know this whole thing's starting to sound pretty questionable. Come on, remember what I said about the pursuit of the unknown? It starts with belief, right? Whoa. Alright, here we are. We are at the part where Yoko dies. Do you wish to return to the story? Any incomplete chapters must be started. No. Whoa. What the hell? It feels like the air just changed. I feel eyes on my back. I can't move. Is there something behind me? Something's got Yoko really rattled. Yoko, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Stay with me. No, this can't be. No. No. Yoko. So, it's no use. She's in no condition to talk. Keep yelling her name. Ah. Okay, so this is different. So maybe just to recap, we are technically not Shogo. We're like a third party who is, I guess, inhabiting Shogo. We can sort of interject with Shogo and make him realize things that he doesn't know that he knows. And so I actually found it kind of interesting because in the first playthrough, you always had the option to interject for Shogo and curse the people. And so anytime that I didn't do that, though, Shogo would do it himself. So I was like, wait a minute, Shogo's just straight up here killing people. He's just cursing them. And for a very flimsy reason, even if he likes Yoko here. He's only known her a month. Are you going to kill just random people for this person? But regardless, this is new. We did not have this option the first playthrough. So, I guess let's see where this leads. Keep yelling her name. Huh? What? Is calling her name really going to help? I'm already yelling as hard as I can. Shouldn't I look for what's causing this? There's nothing there. Yoko, hang in there. Yoko, look at me. You're going to be okay. It's alright. There's nothing there. Yoko! Ooh. Also, look at this here. Shogo Okie. He is one track here. It looks like there's potentially more tracks. Let's do Kinshibori Park, Part 3, which we have not done yet, which I'm guessing is maybe this... So this is no longer highlighted. I wonder if there's potentially like a third track. I don't know if having access to this track will sort of reveal all potential paths, but I guess we'll go here. Kinshibori Park, Part 3, Shogo Okie. Summary of previous events. Shogo cries Yoko's name in a desperate attempt to wake her as she lies, unmoving on the ground. Will his pleas get through to her? Now let's hope. 1 a.m. Shogo Okie. Kinshibori Park. Huh? Oh, good, you're awake. What? Are you okay? You were so rattled and confused, I thought you'd really lost it. Do you feel dizzy? Have a headache? Are your humors off balance? Wait, what did you say? I think I've heard that before. You're the one who said it earlier. Hold on 1 second. Okay, and that should be good. Oh, right, that might have been where might have been it. My humors were off balance. What? Back there? You ended up like that because of your humors? Yeah. I've heard that at this age, your humors being even a little bit off can be fatal. ... I'm glad you're back to normal now. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause you so much trouble. But I really don't remember what happened. Sounds like what happened to me. Maybe this sounds like what happened to me. Maybe this place is dangerous somehow. What? Are you backing out? Yeah. It just doesn't feel safe to me, and I'm worried about you. Let's call off today's investigation. Come on. I just started feeling back to normal too. Nope, not happening. Go home. I'll even pay your cab fare, okay? I ended up having to force a still protesting Yoko into a taxi. Even then, she still wouldn't stop complaining. So to placate her, I promised I'd search the park on my own for a little while longer. Okay, so look at that. We actually just bypass basically it looks like the entire last night, or that entire night, and instead we come back maybe the next day. Kind of cool. Okay, Kinshibori Park, Part 4, Shogo Okie. Worried about Yoko after her bizarre incident, Shogo decides to call off their investigation into the mysteries for the night. Despite her stubborn objections, he manages to persuade her by offering to continue the search on his own. In further news, before dawn today, a police officer on patrol discovered a man collapsed in a Sumida City park. The man was taken to the hospital, but his death was confirmed shortly after. Investigations are still underway, but police suspect a connection to the other unexplained deaths found in the area. Well, well. Okay. Well, I didn't expect to see that happening. Well done in your efforts thus far, says the storyteller. This brings Shogo Okie's story to a close. Huh. So Shogo only had two options. Death or saving Yoko, I guess. Ah, but this is not the end. Far from it. In fact, this is where the story finally begins. The roots of the three protagonists have now been unlocked. Harue Shigema, a woman who lost her son when he was kidnapped and murdered. Tetsuo Tsutsumi, the chief inspector of the 1st Investigative Division, who is looking into the death of an officer in the line of duty. Miyako Sakazaki, a high school girl who wants to bring her friend back from the dead, a girl who died in a suspicious suicide. So let's think about that here. Two of our three protagonists. Hold on, I wanted to. I think the music might be a bit too loud. Oh wait, no. Apply. Okay, so you've got the Harue, I think that was her name. The one whose son died, we actually killed her. She was the fire person. The detective, I don't know. We don't actually know if he was a wielder of, I forget what they're called, but basically the curse. We didn't get to spend very much time with the detectives because, like an idiot, we got caught. But then we've got this Yako Sakazaki here. We killed her pretty quickly. I think her friend was called Mio, perhaps. So maybe she's trying to bring her back to life. And apparently she died in a suspicious suicide. Each of them is burdened with circumstances that leave them no choice but to seek the right of resurrection. Following the three storylines will reveal the full nature of all that is occurring. With that, please enjoy the continuation of this tale. Huh. Wow, so Shogo poor Shogo, even though he wasn't a good guy, he killed people pretty flagrantly. I wonder what path is like his actual path. You know, like his true end. Probably this one where he died. Okay, so we've got Harue Shigema, Tetsuo Tsutsumi, and Yako Sakazaki. So I guess we'll just start with Harue, since she's the second one in line here. And we'll just save the schoolgirl for last. So Harue, her intro is not dreams. When the son of Harue Shigema was kidnapped, a botched investigation by the police resulted in the child's murder. 1 year later, Harue has hired a private investigator to help resolve the unsettled case. Late at night, while speaking to the detective at her home, something strange suddenly appears. Okay, let's start. May those who mock fire perish in flame. Kill them. Maybe that's Fury over there. Kill them. The flame bearers. Kill them all. You have acquired the power of the cursed stone, the haunting clappers. You can use it to kill those with fire or a fire-starting device on their person. Huh. Okay, so that makes sense on why we had to throw the lighter away as Shogo. Use it to kill with fire or a fire-starting device on their person. Press the Use Curse button to set your target alight. So, yeah, basically, I'll just read this again, it's fine. An enduring superstition, the haunting clappers. As the evening bell rings in Iricho, near present-day Shumoku Bridge, a night watchman patrols the dark streets and announces his presence by shouting warnings. About fires, all the while striking his wooden clappers. But tonight the sound of another set of clappers answers back. He curiously claps his clappers, together again, clack clack. The echo answers again. But no matter how hard he searches for the source of this second pair of clappers, he never finds it. Some say it was the work of a mischievous tanuki or kitsune, while others say it was a warning from the spirit of someone who lost their life in a terrible fire. So we get our activation mechanism. Someone who's in possession of a fire or fire-starting device, and a resentful memory. Red, red, red. Everything has dyed crimson. My home is burning to the ground. It's hot. So hot. I must call for help, but I cannot speak. My throat must be burned up from the smoke. No, I think I'm already on fire. That's right. I'll just use the clappers. Clack, clack. Is anybody there? Clack, clack. Why is no one coming? I'm going to burn to death. How did it come to this? Oh, right. Her. It must be the work of that vixen who appeared suddenly and enchanted my lord. That witch. Those hauntingly cold eyes had my lord dancing in the palm of her hand. Perhaps I was also taken in by her. How many innocent people did I lure in under orders? This must be karma. The sound of a heavy bell. It feels like my head will split open. Ah, right. The evening bell. That must be why nobody can hear the sound of my clappers. I've got to do it louder. Clack, clack. Alright. A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. Now. Kurose. Can you hear it, Cursebearer? You who so strongly desires the right. Kill them. Harue Shigema, 12 a.m. Shigema Mansion Reception Room. Oh, so Miss Harue here is, Harue-san's quite wealthy. Back with me, ma'am? Richter. One moment. Okay. Can't say I understand what just happened, but it certainly seems to have put you in a good mood. This might be the first time I've ever seen you really smile. Sweet dreams? A housewife, Harue Shigema. Let's check her out. Female, housewife, Curse Echo, the Haunting Clappers. Harue is a housewife who resides in a manor near Shumoku Bridge. Her 11-year-old son, Shuichi, was kidnapped and murdered about a year ago. The death was the result of a mistake on the part of the detective assigned to the case. A mistake which enraged the kidnapper and had him cut off all contact with the police, leaving no room for negotiation. The incident was covered up and Shuichi's killer remains at large, leading the aggrieved Harue to call on the services of private investigator Richter Kai to uncover the truth. The Shigema family came from a line of samurai who built their residence in Honjo during the Edo period. They assumed the important positions in the police force following the Meiji Revolution, thereby protecting their family's elevated status. Even today, many in the Shigema line work as police bureaucrats and senior police officers. Harue's father sits in the upper echelons of the National Police Agency, and her husband, adopted into the Shigema clan through an arranged marriage, is also a highly respected agency official. However, as her family prioritizes work above all else, it wasn't long before Harue's marriage grew cold. Though she wants for nothing, she is isolated from her neighbors and withdrawn from society. Seeing her son grow into a young man gave Harue a purpose in life, but it was cut short by the kidnapping incident. Following the incident, Harue spent many days in a deep depression, breaking into sudden fits of shouting and wandering around in the middle of the night. Her cheerful, loving disposition faded away, and she took to making snide remarks at her husband, which only further soured their relationship. A few months ago, Harue's husband was transferred to another area for work and now rarely returns home, with Harue left to live in the large, empty mansion alone. As a housekeeper who has been with the family for a long time comes in to take care of all the housework, Harue has nothing but time on her hands. It's quite the description. I kind of find it interesting that even though her husband and father are so high up in the police force, they just kind of gave up on finding the kidnapper. All right. No. Not dreams. Sounds like something I might want to hear about. Well, I'll be damned. Is that what I think it is? Goodness, you made me jump. It's just a silly little sticker my son got from somewhere or other. He put it up just before. Well, you know what happened. I still can't bring myself to take it down. Let me take a closer look. Is that some kind of rooster? I knew it. It's Head Hincho from way back in set number 1. This is a real collector's item. Excuse me? Don't tell me you've never heard of the mockingbirds. What, the what? They're the hottest new craze. Cute little birds dressed up like rough and tumble delinquents. I've never heard of them, but this certainly seems to matter to you. The best part is, nobody knows who made them. They just started showing up around town, and soon enough, they'd won everybody's heart. The story goes, they're made by some anonymous artist who covertly leaves them behind in specific locations. No one knows when or where they'll show up next. They're basically an urban legend of sorts. To think one would turn up here of all places. This is a good sign, I'm sure of it. Oh, well that's nice. Got an achievement, mocking chick. Oh wow. So there's even collectibles. Okay. These popular bird mascot stickers seem to pop up everywhere. Nobody knows who the legendary artist is behind these quirky birds, but they quickly became popular for their surreal yet oddly cute designs. Be in the right place at the right time in Hongzhou, and you might just be able to find all 20 of them scattered around. Legend has it collecting them all will bring good luck. So I wonder if they're all the same. Oh no, they're not. I don't think they are. Approach the net, a bottom shelf surrounded by darkness, jackpot. Look up at the first house. Late at night, on the way home. Among the morning green, before hearing the history. In the bright garden, if you won the lottery. Detective and private eyes. Wait until you feel like yourself again. So I'm getting the sense of ringing telephone booth. I'm getting the sense that certain dialogue cues or times during the story, in a park where sparrow sings, on a bridge pillar at night, waiting at the intersection. Yeah. Okay. A stereo unit with separated speakers designed for home use. My husband insisted on buying one, even though he isn't one to listen to music often. So that's good. That's good. Do we just do that every time? Yeah, okay. An arrangement of flowers. We bring in someone to do it. I don't even know what the flowers are called. Hanging scroll. An old hanging scroll. I don't know who painted it. It's been hanging here since before I was born. We'll save Richter Kai for last. The telephone. This mansion has a private line. A fax machine. It can send images to other places along the telephone network. I don't really know how it works, but Most houses don't have one. I rarely find a use for it. Yeah, I would say so. Actually, I think in Japan, fax machines are actually still used relatively often. The lights. The chandelier is the only thing in here that's my choice. It's my favorite part of the room. Getting to assert herself. The swinging of the pendulum echoes through the room. It feels livelier than usual with Richter here. Usually it's just me. The television. A color television. Father bought one as soon as it hit the market. He likes to have the latest gadgets. Unlike the latest models, there is no remote control. We've had it for a long time. Back when it was new, we all gathered around it and marveled at it as a family. But with Father and my husband being away so often, it quickly fell into disuse. Anything else? Anything else? I don't think so. Alright, we should be at Richter now. Guest table. The guest table. I don't know where Father got this whole thing from, but I've never liked it. My heart's still racing. This is it. My chance, at long last. A private investigator I hired. A friend told me about him. They said he's not very well known, but he's good at what he does. When I first visited his office in Oda City and saw how he dressed, I could hardly believe he was a detective. But after talking to him for a while, I changed my mind. He says some strange things at times, but he seems like the reliable sort. Okay, Richter Kai. Male, private investigator, no curse echo, and that is definitive. Perhaps. The eccentric man that Shogo Okie ran into at Ho-Onji Bridge. Richter is actually a private investigator with an office in Oda City, Tokyo. After taking on a request from Harue Shigema to investigate the unsolved kidnapping and murder of her son, he gets caught up in the events surrounding the Rite of Resurrection. Once a police officer, Richter was racked with guilt over the police's inability to help all those in need and quit the force to start his own private investigation firm. However, his soft-hearted nature leads him to take on too many cases and has put his office in dire financial straits. How he is still in business is a mystery, with some whispering that a wealthy patron is keeping him afloat. Richter studied alongside Detective Jun Erio at the police academy. Somewhat surprisingly, given his outlandish clothing and mannerisms, Richter excels at covert investigations entailing his targets. He proudly refers to himself as an investigator extraordinaire, though that only ever succeeds at impressing himself. Richter's biggest source of happiness is nuzzling his pet female albino parakeet, Ernstine, which he keeps in his office. He also enjoys collecting mockingbird stickers, a popular line of merchandise featuring birds inexplicably dressed like delinquents, and can be frequently sighted searching around town for them. While out and about, Richter typically leaves the office and, more importantly, Ernstine, in the care of Amamori, a junior high schooler who volunteered to assist Richter after being involved in a previous case. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Harue, Richter, Tetsuo, Jun, Erio. I wonder if Amamori was the girl who, I don't remember if it was her name. The high school girl, the third one. Okay. Wait, once again? Okay, the agency. Richter Kai's private investigation firm in Kamata, Oda City. Originally, Kai thought to give it a simple name like Kai's Detective Agency. But upon hearing that people are more likely to pick names listed at the front of the phone book alphabetically, he decided to pick a name starting with an A. As you do. Thus, the Azur Heron Agency was established. However, it is questionable whether the heron, a bird of somewhat ominous significance, is an effective symbol for attracting customers. Even his own assistant has referred to the name as confusing at best. After all, rather than an Azur Heron, Richter keeps a white parrot as a pet, and dresses not in blue, but mostly in white. If there was a symbolic connection to be made here, it has surely been lost on all but Richter himself. A private investigator, also known as a private eye, is a detective who operates their own agency. Although there are no formal qualifications necessary to become a private investigator, many are retired police agents or detectives due to the similarities between the work involved. At a glance, private investigation firms and inquiry offices might look similar, but they carry out different types of investigations. Inquiry offices specialize in conducting credit checks on businesses, while private investigators are generally involved in tailing persons of interest and gaining information surreptitiously. All right, so lots of story. I don't think we're done thinking. My heart's still racing. Okay, so we are. All right, let's talk to Richter now. Let me bring you up to speed. We were in the middle of a chat when you suddenly started spacing out, and the whole time you were grinning to yourself like you just won the lottery. Care to tell me what that was all about? Well, where to start? Interesting. Very interesting. So, the haunting clappers, curse echo appeared out of nowhere, told you how to perform the rite of resurrection, and gave you the curse you'll need to do it. Have I got that right? That's right. So it's all real. Honestly, I still find it hard to believe. But I guess I have to now. I saw that curse stone appear in your hand myself. It looked like it popped out clean out of thin air. With evidence that clear, there's no denying that there's some supernatural force at work. I don't think you quite understand. Oh? This isn't about evidence, and it isn't about belief. It's more than that. I know it's real. The moment the curse appeared, I knew everything before it even said a word. It was already there in my head, as clear as day. You just knew, huh? It was etched onto my soul, along with the curse echoes resentful memories. So I can feel it, what it was like. Dying like they did hundreds of years ago, wreathed in flame, writhing in pain as my flesh blackens and my blood boils. I can feel it. All the agony, all the rage. It fills me with bloodlust. I think I need to kill someone. Anyone will do, just as long as they're carrying fire. I see. That could be a problem. You think so? From what I know of you, I was sure you'd see it as an opportunity. The stronger the desire to resurrect someone, the stronger the urge to kill. That's how it seems to me, anyway. Good grief. Talk about a spanner in the works. I say we take stock for a moment, remind ourselves where we've come from and where we're going. That might be a good idea. Alright, let's see if she has anything to think about differently now. Nope. Okay. Heart's still racing. That's what you hired me for, ma'am. To look into your son's kidnapping last year. To uncover the truth behind the abduction and murder of Shuichi Shigema. Oh yes, I remember. They never did find the one who did it. That's what I'm here about today, in fact. Kind of you to let me drop by so late, by the way. I've been turning over every last stone, and I've come up with a grand total of 1 lead. So you said. As far as the police are concerned, it's a cold case, but I've managed to make some headway. I remember. You were just about to tell me. Alright, well, let's see what this has to say. The Shigema kidnapping. An overview. A kidnapping and murder case that took place in Honjo Sumida around 1 year ago. Haruo Shigema's son, Shuichi, age 11, was kidnapped on his way home from school, with a ransom being demanded that same evening. Initially, the kidnapping was thought of as a simple extortion scheme, but when it came to light that the Shigema family was closely tied to the police, and Shuichi was in fact the grandson of a senior official, it was quickly assumed that the perpetrator was acting upon a grudge against the police force. The kidnapping was treated as a direct attack against the good name of the police, and a large-scale investigation was launched that used the best equipment available to trace phone calls. This made it all the more embarrassing when they were unable to catch the culprit, losing the public's confidence. The culprit grew cocky, relentlessly mocking the police force. After 3 days of failure after failure, Haruo reached a breaking point. Spurred by concern for her son, she resolved to hand over the ransom money as fast as possible. But her husband and father, who held the prestige of the police in high regard, refused, saying that they would not let the criminal win by giving in to their demands. The increasingly frantic detective assigned to the case lost his temper when the criminal called to give an ultimatum, causing the culprit to never make contact again. Another week passed, and Shuichi's body was found floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi's death could be largely ascribed to the police's incompetence, but this was ultimately covered up with stringent media embargoes. The investigation was never closed, but the case has long gone cold. I would say Haruo has some legitimate grievances with the police force. Another thing, okay. Shuichi. He doesn't have a curse echo. Man, doesn't this kid look like a sweet little angel? The only son of Haruo Shigema. He was kidnapped and murdered 1 year ago. His body was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi was a conscientious, brave young boy who was determined to protect his mother. Jesus. Haruo, amid his father's frequent absences, was determined to protect his mother, Haruo, amidst his father's frequent absences. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and displaying diligence and an impressive sense of responsibility from a young age. Likely due to being raised in an extremely strict environment. Born in the early 70s, he spent his days immersed in various activities and studies, including playing piano, learning the abacus, taking English lessons, and training in kendo. Shuichi's tendency to put other people's needs over his own meant he died without ever telling his classmates how much he longed for them to all go out on a hunt for mockingbird stickers. You know, we still need to figure out exactly what you want me to do. Tell you what, why don't I tell you what I found, and then we can make a decision. Alright. You know, tell you what, why don't I tell you what I found? Alright. About the kidnapping. I suppose there's not much point going over the kidnapping itself. No, I'm very familiar. Then I'll leave that for the files to cover and just confirm a few things about the case. The police traced the culprit's calls back to, let's see here, northern Oyoko River, here in Sumida City. That's quite a wide area. That's right. In the end, they never managed to nail down exactly where the calls were coming from. But it was almost certainly the same location that Shuichi was being held captive, since Shuichi's voice could be heard during the killer's calls. Northern Oyoku River is quite a distance from Shuichi's normal school commute. Factoring in that he was seen at school but went missing before he arrived at his house, it's likely that he was abducted by car on his route home. Maybe, but exactly. Shuichi was a clever boy. He never would have gotten into a car with a stranger. That's right. I was very firm about that. I know he understood too. I even saw him warning the other children. It's possible that they forced him into the car. The only issue there is there weren't any witnesses to the kidnapping. You can't bundle someone into a car with many students around and not be noticed. But nobody came forward to say they saw anything suspicious. So did they target him at some other time? Or somewhere away from his usual route? Both of those seem a little far-fetched. Which raises the question, how did the kidnapper pull it off? The police never managed to find an answer. In the end, they decided that the kidnapper must have gotten lucky. Well, why not turn the problem on its head? So, they're going with the tried and true trope or cliche. Although I guess since it's rooted in the truth that normally it's someone that the killer or the deceased knows that does the killing. The kidnapper managed to convince Shuichi to get into their car, but how? The only thing that makes sense to me is if they were someone that he would have a reason to trust. A teacher, perhaps, or a relative, or somebody else that he knew. But all of the adults Shuichi knew had alibis. The police checked them all, thoroughly. They did, huh? No one throws numbers at a problem like the cops. But what if it wasn't someone he knew, or rather, what if the culprit disguised himself as a police officer? That would explain why he didn't find them suspicious. The Shigema family has close ties with the police after all. He would have had a reason to trust them. You might be right. Surely, that couldn't have. Well, there's a problem with that theory. You'd be surprised how much police officers stand out. That's sort of the point, after all. They're meant to be a visible deterrent against crime. But here's another interesting little bit of trivia I happen to know. When you ask people to imagine someone suspicious, nobody pictures women or children. That's right, women and children, nobody thinks they could do bad things. Even kids who've been warned about stranger danger often subconsciously expect that danger to look like an adult man. Besides, Shuichi was the sort of boy who wanted to be a police officer when he grew up. He must have had a very strong sense of right and wrong. That's right. Wait, surely you can't mean... Now you're getting it. If, say, a young woman approached Shuichi asking for help, what would he have done? If someone like that said they were lost and asked him for directions, would he have gotten into a car? He might have. My husband always told him that a man had a duty to watch out for women and children. You mean the same husband who wouldn't protect his own child from a kidnapper in order to preserve the police's prestige? Sounds like a guy to believe. You could certainly argue that kind of attitude is outdated nowadays. But if Shuichi believed it, then we might have something here. Then you think the culprit was a young woman? But it was a man's voice on the phone. She might have been an accomplice, or maybe she didn't even realize she was being used. If anything, that would explain why she hasn't come forward. She herself might not realize she had anything to do with the case. So the question is, did anybody see Shuichi speaking with a young woman on the day of his disappearance? Oops, I think I jumped past one. See, what I said about people's biases, that goes for witnesses too. And I figured that maybe, if I started asking new questions, I might get some new answers. So I spent my day asking around Shuichi's school route, seeing if anybody had seen something. And one man thought he had. Dunno. Do you mean he saw it happen? Well, I can't say that for sure yet. It turned out he wanted something from me, so he asked if we could talk in private. Several hours earlier. Alright, this should do. There's no one around. We can speak in confidence. Excuse me, what was your name again? Joe Nochi. Got it. Well, Joe Nochi, I'm all ears. Just so we're on the same page, you're a private detective investigating Shuichi Shigema's kidnapping. Do I have that right? Of course. What else do I look like? How should I know what a private detective looks like? Oh, forget it. Look, I'll tell you straight. My life is in danger. I need your help. You'll excuse me if that caught me a little off guard. Let me ask you straight. Who is trying to kill you? A student called Michio Shiraishi. Interesting. A schoolgirl, eh? Sounds like you've been naughty. It's nothing like that. The girl, she's a murderer. I'm the only one who knows, but I saw what she did. Michio Shiraishi. I saw her kidnap Shuichi Shigema. Come again? I saw her talk to him on the street and lead him away. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then he went missing. She murdered him. I'm sure of it, or at least she's got something to do with it. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Then you can't let her get to me. If that's true, you've been sitting on some valuable information. Why didn't you tell anybody? Well, you see, if you can't explain that, I don't have any reason to believe you. I couldn't. She told me she'd kill me if I spoke a word. You're telling me a schoolgirl had you scared for your life. So you've been sitting on that all this time, and you think she's coming for you now that you've spilled the beans? Yes, that's it exactly. I'm begging you, don't let her get me. Arrest her. I'm telling you, she's a demon. Well, you seem to believe what you're saying, but it just doesn't add up. How could a schoolgirl have a fully grown man so terrified? You don't know what she can do. She'll curse me. Curse you? I'm sorry, but you're losing me here. It's true, her house, it's... forget it. Why do I even bother? You seem dubious enough to believe me, but I should have known you'd never understand. Enough. I'll find someone else to help me. Hey. And that's about the long and short of it. I can hardly believe it. At the time, I thought his mention of curses was just crazy talk, but I'm starting to see that there might have been more to it. Then, if we can just find that girl. Curse or no curse, if she was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping, then there's a good chance she knows something. On top of that, I did some digging on the man I spoke to. His full name's Kohei Jonochi. He's a teacher at Komagata High School here in Sumida. A teacher? Then this schoolgirl is one of his students. I think that's very likely. All right. Let's see if she has anything to think about. No. At last, we've got a lead. Hopefully, it'll be the breakthrough we're looking for. The Rite of Resurrection, huh? I read about that in an occult magazine the other day. Apparently, some old books showed up recently with all the gory details, and they say that the rite can be found somewhere in Honjo. I remember the first time you told me about that. It felt like my prayers had been answered. Like I had hope, real hope, for the first time. Ever since that awful day, I've wondered, what if I hadn't sent him to school? What if I just paid the ransom? Not a day goes by when I don't think that if I'd done something differently, Shuichi would still be alive. You can't blame yourself, ma'am. It was the culprit's fault, not yours. Though I know that won't help any. Grief is funny like that. I'm guessing that's why you're after the rite? Guess I didn't need to ask. It's written all over your face. I could tell how much he meant to you. But, and this is a big but, if this rite is a real deal, using it will mean killing someone and stealing their soul. Is that a problem? If it comes to that, I'm afraid I'll have to stop you. Oh, that's a shame. A shame, huh? That's all? I thought, if I'm going to be competing with other curse bearers, then your detective skills might come in useful. You realize you're talking about ending someone's life, right? Don't you see an issue with that? I like her face expressions. She definitely... I think that face is a, yes, I see the problem with it, but I don't really care. I think any parent in my position would happily kill for a chance like this. That's so, is it? Dear, oh dear, what have I gotten myself into? If it makes you uncomfortable, then you won't have to get any blood on your hands yourself. I don't need you to kill the other curse bearers. I only need you to find them. I won't be party to murder, ma'am. Not even for a client. I mean, I guess the good thing is we can always go back, you know? So we can make a choice now. And we should definitely appeal to his soft side. His bio says that he's actually quite soft. So... I see. I didn't realize you were so stubborn. Let me say, though, it's not like I don't get what you're going through. As long as you're not killing anyone with your own hands, maybe I can help you out. What do you have in mind? Well, how about stealing someone else's cursed stone after they've filled it with soul dregs? Huh. How does he know soul dregs? I mean, I guess we maybe explained everything to him. If that was all you were after, then I could lend you my services guilt-free. If the other curse bearers want to kill each other, that's their business. I'm not trying to help be a hero here. I guess there's no guarantee a stolen curse will work, but we can worry about that later. Well then, I suppose we have a deal. Although, what if I stole a curse stone using my curse? Would you disapprove? That would void our contract, ma'am. Just warning you now. My. All right, I think I'm actually going to have to call it here tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to pick up and maybe we'll try and finish Hadoué tomorrow night. I think that would be pretty good. We'll do slot 2. Hadoué Shigema, not dreams. Yeah, I'm pretty tired. I'm falling asleep reading right now, so yeah, that's why we're gonna have to end it. But very cool game, very interesting story. I like where it's going. I like finding out the different stories behind people. A little sad Shogo died, but I have a feeling that most people are probably gonna have a bad end. So I'll definitely try to do it tomorrow. So tune in then, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe.